Well, good morning, everyone. I've got to say it's an absolute privilege to be here. I've known Letitia for a while and am certainly passionate about the work that she does as well. As an educator that has specialised in working with tweens and teens for more than 30 years, I've seen a seismic shift in the lives of adolescents, especially in the past decade when the internet has made access to pornography simple and free. Now, humans have long understood that mankind is defined by the physical, the mental, the social and spiritual aspects of our lives. And all of these aspects of our humanity are affected by pornography, possibly no more so than in our tweens and teens as they're developing and forming their future adult selves. What we're seeing is the normalisation of pornography. And that's happening to the extent that its impact is no longer subtle, but it's pervasively damaging. Youth are exposed to an unrealistic physical attraction instead of real intimacy. Their social interactions tend to become highly sexualised, and the social pressures to accept, conform, or engage in this adult sexuality has an impact on their emotional and mental health, both now, and I have no doubt at all that it will continue into their futures. Pornography distorts what our teens perceive to be the purpose of a fulfilled life, leaving them empty as they abandon their beliefs that they once held because they can no longer reconcile those with their life choices. Now, adolescence is a time when our young people are developing their adult brains. But this is a years-long process which we know can be affected by trauma and experiences and by patterned behaviour. The very nature of pornography consumption means the brain's flooded with chemicals which, not unlike drug use, form highly addictive behaviour patterns. In this time when the brain is being hardwired in preparation for adulthood, our young people are increasingly being exposed to easily accessible content that's quite literally shaping their brains. Now, when I think back on my early years of teaching and compare the youth that I taught then with those that I teach now, the one thing that stands in contrast that Mayor Paul spoke about is innocence. The innocence of today is being taken away. It's stolen as these kids are thrust into an adult world of distorted sexuality well before they're developmentally ready for it. I also see an increase in anxiety and trauma when teens feel pressured to share precious parts of themselves with others, or deep shame when they carry the weight of engaging in activity that they desperately wish that they could stop. The once innocent early teen relationships are more complex and sexualised, often focusing on the physical and lacking any real emotional exploration and connection. And gender identity and exploration is being informed by what's supposedly it looks like to be a sexual adult. An educator friend of mine who lives in Tasmania shared this with me. Pornography steals the worth of a human. It produces disrespect for the opposite gender who become seen as objects and not people with feelings. Pornography consumes the thoughts of our young people and it interrupts their dreams. In addition, I see a growing number of parents who have no idea what their children are consuming or who do not understand the dangers of pornography or feel utterly disempowered to set boundaries and to porn-proof their kids. But there is hope. There are parents who are fighting and learning and supporting their kids. There are young people who are understanding the dangers and the redemption of their life that's available when they are supported in making healthier choices. And there are adults, both professionals and those who mentor our teens, who are speaking up for them and walking alongside their parents. But they all need resources. And something like the book that Letitia's raising money for is a great resource that we've shared with parents in our own school. Our young people are worth fighting for. We know that. And sadly, in our world today, that fight includes the battle for their freedom to explore sex in measured, healthy ways, rather than being plunged into the sexual cesspit that pornography puts forward as normal human behaviour. We need to fight this pornographic pandemic on all fronts. but it's got to start with information and it's got to start with education. And that's why the work that Letitia's doing is so critical to the future of our young people. And I just ask that you would join me in supporting her in this really critical work.